Here we are, Thursday. It is a Thursday. And then, of course, whenever y'all catch this on the replay, whatever day it is. But we're not going to be up here long today. All right, not going to be up here long today. I just got a quick reminder message. And then for those who have not heard this one yet, I need y'all to understand the importance of learning to expect the unexpected, because the devil and narcissists love to try and catch you off guard. While those notifications are going out, let me go ahead and do our usual check. And you're gonna hear some stuff. It is what it is. We in the car is a public. Yep. So you're gonna hear the occasional siren, hot rod, aircraft. It's just it is what it is. You're gonna hear it. So you're gonna hear the occasional siren. I'm just gonna let it go past. I'm just gonna let it pass before I keep. Yes, hey. Yeah. I can't control that kind of stuff, and so we're out here in the car doing public videos, and so I have no control. When we go live, I got no control over that. Okay, because I gotta have the windows down. Like I said in the very beginning, I said this is gonna be a short one. It's not gonna be. I don't think we're gonna go for a whole hour or nothing, but I got to tell y'all, these narcissists and the devil, they love to catch people off guard. They want to catch you. Yep, they want to catch you driving on the right side today. I think it had to do with where I position the phone. Like I have a let me show it to y'all. I have this little thing. Okay, and it goes on the mirror. So when the sun is more on the window, this is what I use. And so it could be that. The way that, I don't know. But anyhow. Okay, so. Okay, now, yeah. So it might not be YouTube. It could be just where I'm positioning the phone. But the devil likes to see who he can catch off guard. Because let me explain something to you all about trauma. Okay? Alright. We talked a lot about the autonomic nervous system, or ANS. Whenever it's traumatized, okay, whenever a person is under a heavy dose of trauma, suffering from the trauma, the devil knows that. If he can catch you off guard, but see, because the trauma causes vulnerability. Trauma makes you more vulnerable to other things. Okay? Trauma makes you more vulnerable to a lot of things, really. Especially being caught off guard. See, that's one of the favorite things of the devil. He likes to catch you off guard, because if he can do that, that is your most vulnerable spot. That is the most vulnerable moment for your ANS. Again, for those in the back. If the devil and narcissists can catch you off guard, that is your most vulnerable moment for your autonomic nervous system, for the ANS. So you have to learn to expect the unexpected. And I need to tell y'all that will happen naturally as your ANS heals. Because it does. Once you become aware of what it's responding to and how it's responding. See, I cannot stress the importance of this enough. Well, I had to learn about mine so I could bring it to y'all. How your ANS is the inner child. You got to heal that sucker. But you got to be aware of it. See, mine had already healed several times before I became aware of it. Now, it's because of the physical assault, my ANS healing one more time. But the difference is I'm aware of when my ANS is responding to things when it's reacting to me, so that it learns once again to expect the unexpected and to know, based on the patterns that tell a story out here in this matrix. Because you know, for example, when they pull the fire drill shenanigans that they pull for that radio frequency poisoning to stun everybody's autonomic nervous system, and the weather's about to drop 20 degrees outside, you better expect to see some animated salt molecules inside the room. You can expect it because you know it's predictable every single time. Remember, the devil and narcissists, they stuck on that time loop. It's a cycle. They're stuck on repeat. So once you see that pattern over and over again, your ANS goes, oh, that again? So eventually, it stops responding to the sight of them because it's like, oh, you expect the unexpected. So it's no longer vulnerable to those things. That's just one of the best examples I can give y'all. Because your ANS does heal. But we don't know that until we become aware of it. See, that's why the devil sent the Jezebel case study across my path. See, she sent a flying monkey to book session. Oh, yeah. She sent a flying monkey to book session to see if I was aware of my ANS yet. I knew of it because I am a certified, trained trauma specialist. Qualified by God first and foremost. And so I knew the autonomic nervous system, our ANS, it is our threat detector. And it's part of our trauma response system with the amygdala. So I knew about all that already. I just didn't know mine on an intimate level yet. And that is what the devil was looking for. Because once you're healed, you are connected in mind, body, and spirit. You're healed psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up on these messages. Because this one right here is so very important. You got to learn to expect the unexpected. For those of you who tune in and you watch and you just watching, you are monitoring spirit if you don't hit the thumbs up. God sees you. I rebuke in the name of Jesus. Now, the autonomic nervous system is most vulnerable when it can be caught off guard. So you got to know the difference. That's why I tell y'all, you got to have the balance between the physical and the spiritual so you learn, right, when these patterns start to emerge, what the devil's up to out there. Because it's all about trying to keep people living in fear. Remember that. Fear is the foundation for the abuse. Fear is the foundation for the traumatization. And so we will talk about the tires later. Okay? I'll get back with you on Patreon about that, okay? We good. Just so you know, we good. Like I tell you, that when you pay attention to those patterns as to what the enemy's devices are, remember God says, I will not have you ignorant, my brethren. He says, he's going to reveal all. So we start to see it, but you got to be paying attention. It's that heightened awareness that we are getting here to start paying attention to these things so that you are no longer caught off guard. Because every single time a narcissist or the devil can catch you off guard, that is when your ANS is most vulnerable. Now, remember, I also tell y'all that when you are detoxing and you are healing from radio frequency poisoning and you reduce your sodium intake, it takes a little while for the body to adjust. But your ANS don't even like that excess salt. But that excess salt, okay, is what causes your ANS to be jumpy. That's one of the first things that was revealed to me when I got on the blood type diet the first time. And now I just use it as a guide while we manage our sodium intake. We pay attention because we can feel what's going on in the body now. We're becoming more aware of our biological system and how it, because your autonomic nervous system is part of your biology, right? Okay, so it's part of your physical makeup. So you got to pay attention to that. Because when you are connected in mind, body, and spirit, that's emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. Boom. Once that happens, you're good. You are solid. You are solid right there with trauma healing. But if you're not aware of your autonomic nervous system, that is the only thing, the physical, is the only thing the devil has left to try. Okay, to try and re-traumatize. That's what happened to me with the physical assault, y'all, that my ANS got re-traumatized. I didn't. You can't re-traumatize. No, you can't re-traumatize me. And the devil knew that. So through the physical assault, my ANS got re-traumatized. And so that is coming back around now. Because that Jezebel case study, oh my gosh, she bruised up my thyroid. She bruised up my leg, my ankle, my feet, my arms. So it takes a while to heal from all that. And I didn't even know all those bruises were there until about a year later for a lot of them. So that's why. But I got to, and let me tell y'all, it's all minor. None of it, I don't hurt. There's no pain. There's no suffering. It's just a level of awareness I didn't have before all of that. But see, now, that's why I have the Trauma Intensive Healing course for y'all at CHA Academy. That link is in the description below. That's going to take you to how the trauma bond is formed. You want the Trauma Intensive Healing course number 1. The inner working of our ANS. That's to help y'all get the awareness about your autonomic nervous system, because I turned mine the moment I became aware of the radio frequency tugging at my nerve back here at my tailbone. I felt it. It was like, seriously, I felt the tug. That's how much excess salt was trapped inside this body at that time. And I said, okay, aha, that is the moment I turned my ANS into a case study so I could bring this stuff to y'all. And I continue to bring you more as God reveals it. And this is a big one right here. Learning to expect the unexpected, because I'm telling you, whenever the devil gets you off guard, that's when your ANS is most vulnerable. So in order for your ANS to stop being so vulnerable, you have to learn to expect the unexpected. And so how do you do that? Okay, it's going to happen naturally. But there are some things that we can do. Because remember, it's our inner child. We got to talk to it. We got to talk to it. So let's say you are in a new place. And there are unfamiliar sounds occurring outside. And your ANS is a little bit traumatized. You got to pay attention to how it is responding. You'll know. You'll be able to tell. Because of your awareness of yourself, knowing who you are in Christ. And then now, wait a minute, because you know you're not living in fear, but your ANS can still be. See, that's the thing. You got to be able to separate the spiritual and the physical. That discernment. And so, when you can do that, and you hear an unfamiliar sound outside, your ANS it'll let you know. Because you'll feel it, right, it can cause you might get a little bit startled. That's your ANS talking to you. Right? You hear it. It don't bother you. But it's causing your ANS. It caught your ANS off guard. So what you got to do is you got to talk to it. Say, relax. Hold on. Go look out the window and you'll try to find the connection. Because once the sight of whatever that sound was can be connected, for example, car doors. Car alarms. Let's say there is a storm drain in the driveway, right? And the car runs over it, and it makes that clank, clank, clank sound. Okay, well, once you're able to, garbage truck picking up a garbage can, it echoes. It can be pretty loud. Or you hear the beep, beep, beep. Once you remember, your ANS is highly, highly dependent on your 5 senses. Again, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Okay, your ANS is highly dependent on those 5 senses. So once you are able to make the proper connection, sound and sight, your ANS goes, oh, once it knows what it is. Think about how we are as humans, right? We get peace of mind when we have something going on up in there. Like, what is the psychology behind these fools out here? You know, like, what is it? And so you start doing some more research. You start getting, okay. As you start to get a better understanding and that wisdom, like we're talking about in Proverbs chapter 8, that wisdom and understanding and the knowledge, you're able to connect those dots, you get more mental peace. Well, your ANS operates the same way. One, it knows that that sound and that sight is the connection. So going forward, anytime you hear that sound, it will automatically know, oh, that's a car door. And it won't respond negatively anymore. It won't react. You won't get startled. You won't be caught off guard. It has learned to expect that. Expect the unexpected. And it did it naturally with you helping it make the sight and sound connection. That's how your ANS works. Just like our human side, when we want to connect dots and understand more about how they can be so manipulative, right? How these narcissists can be like that. We'll see what the psychology, the physical side says. Okay, and we can get that mental clarity, that mental peace. Your ANS needs the same thing when it can make the proper connection between a sight and a sound. That's how it works. That's how you learn to expect the unexpected. So like if you live next to a busy highway, you can expect to hear sirens from time to time. So that's not going to catch you off guard. Your ANS can be like, because where I reside currently, that's the way it is. I live a little back off of a busy highway. So every once in a while, inside the room, I hear the sirens out here. But we're used to that. It's like we expect the unexpected because, well, it is a fallen Babylonian matrix out here. And so, yeah, very accident prone indeed. So, yeah, more about that on the Patreon membership channel. But I gotta tell you, once your ANS can make the proper connection between sight and sound, same thing with smell and taste also, and then touch. Once your ANS can make the proper connection, then it will, going forward, it had to become familiar. Remember, I tell y'all too, that for your ANS, your inner child, to heal, it needs familiarity. And that's a big part of it. And we play a role as the parent of our inner child. We play a big role about that. We play a big role in that because what we're looking at and what we're thinking, the sound is associated with, is what the ANS is going to pick up on. Because remember, our thoughts control our ANS. So, yes, okay, so, and that's the other thing. Whenever the narcissist and the devil can catch you off guard, yeah, that opens up that vulnerability to allow them, the evildoers, to try and kick you while you're down. See, you're down in that vulnerable spot. That's when you're down. And the devil likes to kick you while you're there. He wants to try to keep you there. So, and the ANS at the tailbone, that Kundalini stuff, knock it off, y'all. That Kundalini, that's witchcraft. Do not play with the chakra fire. I tell y'all that. I got a post on Quora all about that. The Lord told me, he said, don't you play with that. Don't you be, listen, I understand that that's a popular thing right now. Whatever that Kundalini, as soon as I saw that word, I heard the Lord. He said, witchcraft. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't play with the chakra. Don't play with yoga. None of that. Because all that does is opens up the energy portal that this matrix is draining people of. That is how you give your energy to the matrix. Don't do it. That's how demon spirits get in. That's a big way that demon spirit can get in there. Into your energy spot. Keep them shut. I know only one person who knows how to do that kind of meditation without letting, as far as I know, without letting the demons in. There's only one person I know that knows how to do that. And, more power to her. But she's also very aware of the Christ consciousness. So you have to remember that. I'm telling you, if you don't know what you're doing, Because I stay away from that stuff. Because that, to me, for me, in my spirit, on my spirit, all that is part of witchcraft, and we want nothing to do with it. So no, your ANS at the tailbone is not, okay? Your autonomic nervous system, completely different thing. It is your biological makeup. It is part of your physical body. It is part of your threat detecting system. It is part of your fear response system. It's part of your trauma system. It's everything that is your inner child. Your ANS is so delicate because it's your inner child. And it's not protected by bones and tissue. Right, it's not protected by bones and tissue like your central nervous system is. Okay? This is why the enemy targets the ANS. It's the only thing he can target. Readily target, that is. Because if you're crept and unawares about it, then that it can be... See, that's why I'm bringing it to y'all. I don't want to see... For any of y'all who may have gone through a physical assault, you know, sympathies, okay? I can relate. Sympathy. But we know it's not going to happen again because we won't let it, because we're bringing the awareness to you all about your autonomic nervous system. And then also how to identify those Jezebel and the narcissists so that you do not allow yourself to be alone with any of them. If you got to have an interaction with them, make it a public place. If you got to have any kind of interaction with them in the physical, make it a public place. Coffee shop, okay? Library. Seriously, where there's other people. Do not allow yourself to be physically alone. In a room, in a car, wherever. Especially with the Jezebel, do not do it. This is why I tell y'all what to look for. Jezebel, evil eye. Okay? Cheshire cat grin. Watch out. So, okay, yeah, best to stay away from that stuff, okay? Alright, the reason that you're getting jumpy at loud noises lately, that means you still have a little too much salt in your system. That's what that means. And that your ANS needs, okay, if you are still, alright, if you are still jumpy at loud noises, okay, this is for you. It's because your ANS has not become accustomed to those yet. Your salt levels are still a little too high. That means your vagus nerve, right, that means your vagus nerve is irritated. Because there's a possibility that the loud noises sound louder than they actually are. So the first step is to go and revisit the managing of your sodium intake, okay? Revisit that. Right? Do a double check. We all got to do it from time to time. While we're going through this process, we all got to do it. So you want to revisit that. Okay, revisit that on your sodium levels if you are still jumpy at loud noises. Because that is the devil catching you off guard, catching your ANS off guard. And so those loud noises, if you are not familiar, okay, you may know what it is, but your ANS doesn't. So you got to talk to it. You got to let your ANS know what the noise is, okay? So there's two things for you to work on right there. Right? It's to revisit the management of your sodium intake, right? Because you should not be jumpy at loud noises, you know, not forever. No. Because that means that the loud noises are serving as a trigger for your ANS. Your autonomic nervous system needs a proper connection. It's not making the proper connection from sound. Okay, so you gotta get a visual. So next time, now if you are unable to get a visual, here's the tip I have. If you're unable to get a visual, get the sight to help your ANS make the proper connection, just know, you know what? It came from outside. Because your ANS will be okay with that too. I've done it. Tried and true, y'all. Tried and true. Okay, your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, if it's jumping at a loud noise or anything that is startling it, You got to revisit your salt intake, all right? Revisit the management of that. So, well, it could be, okay, if you are eating, if you're eating a lot of bread, then yeah, that's where the excess sodium coming from. Now, remember that getting active, okay, walking, you got to get that circulation going. And if you are, hold on a minute, here's another siren. I'm going to let it pass. It is what it is. All right. If your ANS is not getting the proper connection, but if you're unable to get a sight, okay, to that sound, okay, if you're unable to get a visual to help your ANS make the proper connection to that sound, but you know for a fact it did not come from inside where you're at, right? You know. I can tell you, a lot of times, unless you'll know the difference between whether it came from inside, because if the sound came from inside, you're going to quickly figure out what it was. The bottle fell over, or like, for example, I had my pocketbook sitting on a tote that I have by my desk. It was sitting on the edge of the printer. Excuse me, I stand corrected. It was sitting on the edge of the printer, and I had my shoes at the door, and I put my shoes on one day. And I had it sitting just on the edge, and so what happened was it wasn't very sturdy, and so it fell over and it hit the tote and then fell on the floor. So it made a pretty decent sound, but it was right there. You know what I'm saying? It was like very sharp, distinct, but I saw it out of my peripheral, so we didn't get startled or caught off guard because we saw it in action. We knew, we heard the sound. We were able to automatically make that connection, so no biggie there. But the difference is the sound when it's coming from where you're at inside. It's gonna be clear, it's gonna be crisp, and it's gonna be close. The 3 C's: clear, crisp, and close. Okay. So if it's coming from inside and you go and your ANS, same thing. But if it's distant, okay, if it doesn't meet the 3 C criteria for clear, crisp, and close, then like a car door outside, you'll know the difference, okay? Or anything coming from outside, it'll be more distant, okay? It'll be a bit further out. The sound travels, yes, but the sound will be, you got doors closed, windows closed, right? Okay, you'll be able to tell the difference. Okay, it'll be more distant and probably a little muffled, maybe, but it's still loud enough to startle your ANS. So what you want to do at that point is, if you're not able to, you get to the window, but let's say whatever it was is already gone, so you don't have a visual, just tell your ANS, hey, you know what? Okay, it just came from outside. It did not come from in here, because your ANS will be all right with that. Remember, it's the inner child. Oh, okay, it didn't come from in here. It came from outside, and over time, your ANS will learn to be able to tell the difference between whether the sound came from inside versus outside. So as it does that, it starts to naturally learn how to expect the unexpected. Because the devil wants to catch your ANS off guard, which in turn will catch you off guard. And that leaves your ANS more vulnerable to being startled, more vulnerable to re-traumatization. So your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, the inner child, needs to make the proper connection. So that's what's going on there. If you're still jumpy at those kinds of sounds, okay? And so you want to revisit that. The best alternative, okay, for those of you who may need to, if you're still jumpy, you got to revisit the sodium intake. So take a break from the bread. And if you can find saltine crackers with unsalted tops, that can serve as a replacement. Because that's what I've done. Okay? I've got saltines with unsalted tops. Yep. And you can use those with a little bit of unsalted butter. There's your bread and butter replacement. to better manage that sodium intake to get the level back down so that your nerve won't be as jumpy with loud noises, okay? And then add, right, and it's just one of those things, all right? It's just one of those things in life that we have to learn how to get better control of ourselves in that way. So your autonomic nervous system just needs to make the proper connection, just like when we, as humans, need to make the mental connection to understand better what it is we're up against when dealing with narcissistic abuse and the traumatization. We have mental peace. When your ANS makes that proper connection to sight and sound, or if there is no sight, to understand that, oh, the sound came from outside, not inside, over time it'd be like, okay, it starts to relax, okay, naturally, and learns to expect the unexpected. And remember, again, your thoughts control your autonomic nervous system, so be very mindful what you're thinking also. So, for example, you hear one of them sounds, right? And you're a little, if you're a little bit jumpy and one of those sounds occurs, like a big boom outside, and your ANS respond by jumping a little, don't be thinking, oh, okay? Don't be thinking stuff like that. You want to train yourself to think positively. Say, hold on a minute, let me go see what that was. There you go. Write that down. Put that in your journal. If your ANS is still jumping at loud noises, that's what you want to do. You want to, yeah, and really with anything, when it comes to healing that inner child, right, you want to make sure that you tell yourself, hold on a minute, let me go see what that was. Because you know it came from outside. Now you got to tell your ANS it did and see if you can make a connection. Right? All about what you think. All right, don't go, oh, okay, don't be saying stuff like that. Because your ANS will be like, now what? You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to do negative thinking. You want to do positive thinking. Because when you keep thinking positively like that, over time, eventually, your ANS is going to be like, okay, I got you. So that's what I do. It's like, if there's something that occurs that is unknown, right? Like something occurs and it's unknown, my ANS, I don't think anything negative. I go, hold on a minute. Let me go see what that is. Hold on a minute. Let's check this out. Hold on a minute. Relax. We tell it to relax. I'm telling y'all it works. Try it and true. Tell your ANS to relax. Let me check it out. Relax. Let me go see what it is. Relax. Let's make the connection. Because it is your inner child. It's going to listen to you. It knows your voice. Okay? It knows your voice. You talk to it. I don't care. You know what? What, in the grocery store? You darn right I do. If I need to talk to my ANS right there in the middle of the aisle, if I need to talk to my ANS right there in the middle of aisle 5, I'm going to do it. I don't care who's around. I don't care. There's your motivation right there. You shouldn't care. You know what you're doing. Keep your ANS in check. It's no different than sitting there reading labels out loud. Because I do it. I've done it. Hello, Melissa. Okay. So, yeah, Chris, that's a great point. That, yeah, okay, the salt in your body, yes. I'm not saying you're not going to be able to eliminate all salt. You're not going to be able to eliminate all salt in your body. You're going to take in some salt. It's a matter of managing how much. And if you are active, right, well, I am. I walk, I weight train. So I do, but I manage how much salt goes in this body. Because I'm also recovering from excess salt, still trying to get out from bruising. So my circumstances are a little bit different. But yes, okay, we don't want to, right, you're welcome for the tip. And, well, yeah, especially if you're sweating, you definitely are going to want your electrolytes. But it's about balance, okay? So let me be clear here on the low sodium intake. You're not going to escape taking in sodium unless you eat oatmeal all day long. but you do want to manage how much you take in. Okay? So, yes, very important. All right? And you're welcome. Exactly. You do need a little bit of salt in the body if you're active, sure. If you're sweating and you're working out, I'm there with you. But it's a matter of how much. Just paying attention to not putting too much in. Because when you put too much in, then you start to feel... Bleh. There's your tip right there. If you go to a restaurant and you just finished eating a meal, and all of a sudden you're feeling... Bleh, that means you just got too much salt. So, yeah, the funny bone, right, what it is, okay? So, the tailbone for your ANS is very much like that. Right, don't think fear thought, and don't make negative association. That's it right there. Right, you do need some salt, but not in excess. That's it right there, okay? Well, if you're feeling a little bit fragile... Okay, just be mindful, okay? If you're still feeling a little bit fragile, okay, you're still healing in the physical from radio frequency poisoning, I understand that. Take your time. There's the other, okay? Because your body got, your ANS is learning how to expect the unexpected. Because it has to heal. For all of us, we have to learn to expect the unexpected at all times so the devil and narcissists can no longer catch us off guard. So, feeling a little bit fragile, I understand. Been there. Okay? I understand completely. 100%. That's why I give y'all the tip about how to move, okay? You might, because you're going to wake up one day and you're like, man, I'm feeling good today. And you're going to think that you could just No, you still want to slow down. You want to slow down. You want to take it easy, one step at a time. You do not need to rush nothing. You don't need to try to hurry. No, that's the trick of the enemy. Try to get you to hurry. Okay, you don't want to do that because then that can lead to being accident prone, and we don't want you to do that. So if you would need some additional one-on-one with that, with what's going on, okay, during the healing, let me know via email, okay? Let me know via email. All right, because your circumstances are going to be unique for you. And so I can walk you through some steps for your circumstance. Okay? As far as that with the healing, and if you're feeling a little bit fragile, that is because your ANS is being caught off guard. And I think, Chris, in your case, that's those loud noises are doing that to you. So that's why I gave you them tips right there to revisit your sodium management and also to learn how to talk to it and make more positive association for those sounds. Because there's also that possibility that the sounds are sounding louder than they actually are. That's one thing I came to realize too. Because the ANS don't like that. Your vagus nerve. If your amygdalae are not enlarged, but your vagus nerve is pinched, the same effect. When your amygdalae are enlarged, that will cause things to sound louder than they really are. But if you are reconnected in mind, body, and spirit, emotionally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, it's not physical, okay? Once that happens, your amygdalae are not enlarged anymore. You're healed from the trauma in that way. But if your ANS got re-traumatized, if you got excess salt perhaps, and that radio frequency zapping out there, your vagus nerve could have gotten a little bit pinched. And that will cause the same effect with sound sounding louder than they actually are. Never forget how the devil and the narcissists are all about appearances. To make things appear louder than they are. Appear bigger than they are. Appearances is what they're all about. So we got to get to the bottom of it, and we can do that. Okay? So yes, thank you. Okay. Yes, welcome Melissa and Laura. I appreciate y'all joining in. There you go. Okay, so yeah, sounds are sounding bigger than they are, so a nervous overreaction is occurring, and that is what's leaving you feeling a little bit fragile. So once you're able to help your ANS make the more positive association to the sound, and remember my cooling towel. Here's that third tip. Remember, y'all, cooling towel. It's real simple for your vagus nerve, because your vagus nerve, it is on, right, it's in between. There's your spinal cord, and then you got your throat, right? Okay, your vagus nerve is on the, if you take right there, okay, right at the base of the skull, and you've got that little indentation there, right, that little muscle, on the other side of that muscle, that is where your vagus nerve starts. It's right in line with your audio. So if it, right, if it's getting pinched by a little more heat in this area, in this muscle area here, because of the salt and the radio frequency, it's getting pinched. And that could be, okay, cooling towel. Remember, hand towel. Just a regular old hand towel. Get it wet, wring it out. Okay, wring it out. Then fold it. Fold it and roll it. All right, fold it. All right, roll it. Put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Now, if you want to do the cooling towel that very day you do it, put it in the freezer for a little while. Not too long. You don't want to freeze it. You don't need to freeze it. But to get it nice and cold. Then that, right, and then you can open it up. Okay? And you see how I folded it? And then cooling towel. And if you've got hair clamps or some kind of clamp or something like that, you can do that so you don't have to hold it. But cooling towel. Okay? Cooling towel around the neck. And you will notice within seconds. Your vagus nerve will, you'll feel it. Okay? I'm very big on that. You can do that. That's a self-care tip right there. And you can do that anytime. If those sounds are sounding bigger and louder than they really are, get your cooling towel. Start talking to your ANS. Okay? There you go. But ice packing for the head, absolutely, you can do that too. You can put your ice pack back there. A little bit of ice packing back there also will work. Absolutely. And don't forget, ice packing the thyroid area. Right here, ice packing the thyroid area, because that will help regulate your whole nervous system. Right there, you'll feel it. You'll feel your entire body relax. So there you go, everybody. All right. I didn't know. I told you in the beginning it's what gonna be long as a quick message, but you know sometimes you just don't know. But that wraps this one up, okay? To help you help your inner child, and you will learn over time to expect the unexpected, so that the devil and narcissists can no longer catch you off guard. There you go. All right, everybody. So keep on keeping on. And again, if you need specific one-on-one assistance with something, and you, as very personal to you, email me, okay? The email is in the video description below. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.